Latin America has made considerable economic and social progress in recent decades. However, these improvements have not reached all territories equally. The 2017 Latin American Report on Poverty and Inequality is the fourth in a series of reports that began in 2011. This edition is part of the implementation efforts of the United Nations 2030 Agenda to approach a sustainable development that considers the territorial perspective from the frame of reference of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. In line with the motto of the 2030 Agenda, No One Left Behind, we postulate the need to leave no territory behind to counter current state development dynamics that register clear advantages for some and delays for others. The 2017 Latin American Report is divided into two main sections. The first section shows the evolution of the territorial development gaps identified in previous editions of the report, but organized in coherence with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. It also presents the results of the Territorial Equality Index, summarizing the gaps between territories in a given country for a set of SDGs and goals with disaggregated information at the territorial level. The territorial analysis of 27 indicators of 20 targets linked to 9 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals indicate the greatest territorial gaps are concentrated in those SDG goals that reflect more demanding objectives, such as the reduction of adolescent pregnancy, improvements in the quality of education, reduction of economic inequality, or the achievement of a greater gender equality. None of these goals can be confronted from a single perspective. The second section presents the analysis of two experiences of articulation and the coordination of actors in territories of Colombia and Ecuador. New territories of peace in Lower Magdalena, Colombia. The convening power of civil society in a context of institutional distrust. The Coffee Technical Roundtable in the northwest of Quito, articulation in pursuit of small coffee growers. In the 2017 edition of the report, we focus the discussion on the territorial equality of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, to motivate the consideration of territorial cohesion as an important aspect when evaluating the degree of compliance with the SDGs. From a territorial perspective, there are three main trends. 1. Foundational improvements in indicators with targets linked to more primary areas of human development in Latin America. Reduction of infant mortality, literacy, increased access to education, reduction in the number of households with unsatisfied basic needs, incidence of food poverty. 2. In several of the SDG targets, the most laggard territories have tended to approach the levels of advantaged territories, though still very slowly. 3. In all Latin American countries, there continues to be unacceptably large territorial gaps. These three trends project a complex future scenario for Latin America. If changes are not made, it is very likely that Latin American countries, particularly the poorest ones, will fail to achieve several of the targets established by the SDGs. Even if they are able to achieve them at the national level, it is very likely that they will not do so in many of their territories. To leave no territory behind, it is necessary to incorporate a territorial approach. The objectives and targets of the 2030 Agenda are of an integrated, interrelated, and indivisible nature, which requires high levels of articulation and interinstitutional coordination and territorial actors. Learn more about the 2017 Latin American Report on Poverty and Inequality by visiting www.rimis.org.